I'll just start it, but whenever you're ready. I'll just bang on the camera if it's down, if it's alright. No rush.
Okay. With me here today, Andrew McCullough. With me here today, we're trying a new approach to getting to know our players of the King Country Rams. With me, halfback from last year and previously 2022, Christian Gent Standen. Welcome, Christian. Wonderful to have you along. You're the guinea pig to this podcast, but you've got plenty to say normally, so I'm sure you have plenty to say. But you're following, obviously, in some huge footsteps here at King Country halfbacks. Previously, we've had Ben Draper out of Pew Pew, Lee Painter out of QQ, and Chris Walls out of Taupo United. All halfbacks, all Maori, all played for New Zealand Division or New Zealand Heartland. So you making that Heartland team last year in 2024 just follows it on. We're basically going to talk about your career to date, aspirations, and yeah, we're just going to have a chat. So the people out there get to know the Christian Gent Standen. So welcome, mate. Welcome.
No, thank you for having me on, Cheney. Appreciate it.
Yep. We'll start right at the beginning. Young fella, born and bred where?
Mangakino. Well, took it all originally, but Mango's home, and that's where the heart is. So.
Yeah, it's no surprise, I guess, to people here. Your father's Josh Standen, and RDO here, or rugby manager here, been involved with the union for many, many years, played a number of games for King Country. Obviously, I know your family pretty well. I know your grandfather, Wayne. If there's a more passionate rugby man, I'd be surprised. And then obviously your uncles, pretty handy rugby players themselves, Nick and Lee. So you come from pretty good rugby stock. I assume rugby was always in your blood?
Yeah, I guess sort of for as long as I've known, it's just been rugby, to be fair. Like, obviously, like I say, the old man and granddad and his brothers, it's just being a stand-in, you're just sort of born into rugby. You're born with a rugby ball in your hand, so I've sort of known nothing else, to be fair, which is, I haven't ever really complained about it.
Yeah, the stand-in name round Mangakino is synonymous with rugby, so you kind of were always going to be brought into that rugby scene. First memories of playing? Can you remember you would have been a little snot-nosed kid on maybe the Mango or Tokoroa fields?
Yeah, definitely like growing up in Mango, but I think my first game might have been down south when we were living down there.
So just there, Josh ended up going down to Nelson. Motueka.
Motueka. So we're living there, so I think that goes pretty far back then. But then also I'd moved up to Tokoroa with my grandmother, and I remember growing up playing for surf and running around bare feet and freezing cold, just waiting to get the game over so I can go over Milo and sausages after the game. But
Tokoroa can be very, very cold, having played there many times.
I actually had that conversation with some kid not long ago. I was like, it's nice to know you younger fellas these days have boots. Growing up back when I was younger, it was literally bare feet and 2-4 degree weather and you're freezing cold, but you've done it all for the love of the game.
No, that's cool.
Wouldn't have changed it.
So schooled at where? At Whakamari Primary?
Yep, Whakamari Primary, and then we moved over to Taupo and then went to Mount View for done my last year 7 and 8 there, I think.
So you obviously had talent as a young kid. You'd made Roller Mills 2012, 2013, were captain in 2013. Roller Mills, run me through. Those who don't know, Roller Mills has been disbanded, which is very, very sad because I think it was a huge component of the northern region of rugby. You were probably one of the lucky ones who got to play it. Any memories from those 3 years?
To be fair, I got some great memories from both years, and if you look at both years, at 2012 and 13, like the amount of rugby players who have kicked on to either play Super Rugby or be an All Black, or there's even guys who I remember playing both those years who like in NRL now. So back then it was a pretty cool pathway, and around 12 and 13, you always wanted to play for your union and be able to make rollers. So.
Oh, that's true.
So we had to play it 2 years in a row. Was pretty special because it was definitely one of those tournaments.
Little fella then, or skinny little fella?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Still sort of the same, but
mouthy.
Yeah, nothing's changed since then.
And you've always put that. Your dad certainly knew how to whip a team along. Have you got any thoughts on the fact that the Roller Mills is gone? I mean, it's out of your hands, but it's just sad.
Looking back on it, like, it is a bit of a bummer for like those younger kids around 12, 13, because I know, like I said, when I was that age, you wanted to play that, you wanted to go away for like a week and play footy. So yeah, it is a bit of a bummer, and I mean, it was a good pathway for a lot of unions and stuff like that as well. So.
It's your first tour, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you say, you're away for a week. It's amazing to get away. And where were those 2 years?
Can't really remember the first year. It was definitely in Auckland.
Yep.
Somewhere. And then the second year was in Silverdale.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, second year was out in Silverdale. Yeah. So.
Oh, cool. So then kind of you left primary school, left Mount View, went to Tauponui.
Yep. Tauponui. Yeah.
Became a bit of a just kind of, I guess, on the tune. King Country 14s, King Country, 15s, King Country 16s. Kind of each year you were making King Country teams. Who were kind of, you talked about players, All Blacks and Super Rugby players. Who were some of the guys that were always in that squad or that you're always playing with?
I guess through like 14s, from rollers right up to about, we had, rollers and 14s. We had myself, we had Cortez, Ratama, we had Josh Lorden was in my rollers for both years. So definitely the unions produced some pretty good young players and stuff like that. So.
And they're actually cool too, because they're also players who give back to this union.
Yeah,
which is
And
incredible.
Even though they're on the bigger stage now, they're two players who sort of look back to their roots, and they're real proud King Country boys.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess growing up, whether it's you started at Roller Mills or you go on to be an All Black, you sort of know that you're always a King Country Ram, or you played for your union, which is pretty special.
So that's cool. So 2016. You started getting recognised. You went to a Chiefs development camp, assumedly in Waikato and Hamilton.
Yep.
Difference there, you kind of go from, I guess, a school that's kind of second tier in Bay of Plenty Rugby in Tauponui, and then you're suddenly in a Chiefs training camp. Lot to learn.
Yeah, I guess when we were that young, like, it was a massive step up, especially coming from Taupo, like a smaller town, and I guess the rugby probably wasn't as like good as other like unions as such. I remember like going there and just learn. It's like a sponge, to be fair. You just have to take it all in and just learn as much as you can. So.
And did they have specific halfback training?
Yeah. For that 17s, we did. Yep. It was a lot of stuff around just your personal, like your core role as a player, individual like stuff. So took a lot out of that, to be fair, in the 17s.
So 2016 Chief Development Camp, 2017 again King Country under-18s, Chiefs under-18 camp. Much of the same. I guess it's almost the same players that coming through. So you kind of seen the same players.
Yeah. To be fair though, that 17s come in as a King Country boy, because King Country will usually send a few players up on like only go for the day.
Yep.
So I got to go up there that day and got to join in with the position-specific stuff, which was real cool.
Yeah.
So definitely took a lot away from that, and I guess that really pushed me, and that led into a bigger year in 2018.
Yeah. So quite keen to get to 2018. You moved. Why? How? Where?
Yeah. So 2018, myself and the family made the decision to go down to New Plymouth. So I went down to Boys High, where I was boarding down there.
Boarding at the school? Or
at the school. At the school, I guess I just needed to get out of Taupo, and if I really wanted to give myself a good chance at making it in rugby, there was a place to be. The level of rugby was a lot better, and I could just be a better person on and off the field.
So were you scholarshiped there? Like you hear a lot of scholarship people to Hamilton there? No. So
not myself, no.
You just moved there to have a crack at rugby?
Yeah, just moved to have a crack and sort of better myself in school as well, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's not a bad school to go to.
Exactly.
How did that go? I reckon it went all right.
Yeah. I think it did too.
Run us through. I know you don't want to brag.
To be fair, like when I look back at it, like I was never really a scholar in school, so and going down there, I sort of had one goal, and that was to be in the first 15.
So you made the first 15?
Made the first 15, yep. And you took
captain.
No, leadership group. But
leadership
no
group.
captain. I'll take that. But yeah, I started every game, which was pretty cool. And like I remember going to that school that year, and would have been like my first couple of weeks. I'd set goals, and I'd keep them above one of my drawers in my
Homesick?
every now and then. Yeah, like being the first time I'd moved away from home, from my family, sort of out the nest. It was a big change.
I know the family went down and watched a lot of your games, and I definitely know that. I may even have gone and watched the game. I can't remember.
I think you might have tagged along one of the changes.
Yeah. So that's cool. So you obviously performed for New Plymouth Boys High, and were invited along to a schools camp.
Yep.
How did that go?
That was crazy. Like that was one of my goals through that year, 2018. So to actually see all these goals slowly get ticked off throughout the year, that year felt pretty surreal. Like I didn't actually think I was gonna make any of these teams, but obviously made the first 15, made the Chiefs 18s camp again, got selected to go NZ schools, and I remember riding one. It was either make NZ schools or barbars. Either way, I was happy. Like I'd sit in my study period watching the previous year's schools team versus Aussie and be like, I really want that to be me this year. And then I remember, looking back, reflecting on that year, and I was like, man, I've sort of ticked off all of those goals. So it was pretty proud moment, and to actually.
That's a great. So the New Zealand Barbarians. So there's New Zealand set schools, the top team, and then the next tier, the next team, the B team. I know that sounds horrible. Is the Barbarians.
Yeah.
And they also choose a New Zealand under-18 Māori team. So there's kind of 3 schoolboy teams. So that puts you 3rd or 4th ranked halfback in New Zealand at schoolboy. It's pretty,
at the time,
pretty special. You played a couple of games. Can you remember your games?
Yep, we had 2 games. So we played New Zealand Māori, and then
Mark Cortez.
Yep.
Did you deal to him?
Oh, he dealt to us.
Oh, yeah, he did beat you. Yeah.
And then we also played the under-18 Fiji team as well. And we lost both those games, which was unfortunate, but I think we were the most unsuccessful Barbarians team in previous years. But
what a cool.
To be fair, I was in one of those places where it didn't really matter to me whether we had lost, as long as I got to put on that red jersey at the end of the day. Like I was real happy, and like I said, a pretty proud moment. If I look back a year before, I was just playing club role, like not even club, like just playing rugby in Taupo in the Bay Comp, and then here I am rated one of the
ripping New Zealand. That's so a very, very.
It was a pretty big step, and that year was a pretty massive year for footy.
So that's cool. Your games, I think, were down in Wellington.
Jerry Collins Stadium.
Oh yes, at Yep, nice. Okay, so 2019, stayed in New Plymouth, left school.
Yeah.
Good qualifications.
Yeah, barbering. Yep. So when I left school, honestly, like when I was at school, like I said, I was just all rugby.
Yeah.
And wasn't very much of a scholar, so I didn't have much going for me after school other than I need to crack rugby. But to be fair, I'd always sort of had my hand dipped in barbering.
Yes.
And, cutting hair. So
little kind of a young Aaron Smith.
You could say that. Yeah. So I was cutting up all my mates here in Taupo, and then when I was in the hostel, I was sort of the hostel barber. So keeping all my mates fresh when I could. But it wasn't until I left school where I'd walked into a shop and just asked if they're keen to take on an apprentice, and they said yeah. So bounced from shop to shop in 2019. To be fair. But like I learnt so much being in multiple different shops, because every barber cuts different. So I took away a lot from that. And
so in rugby, you ended up going out to Clifton. And played senior rugby out there, straight from school to senior. Not too big a step. Was there a chance to play a Colts or a junior grade, or was that not really available?
Nah, well, when you're leaving school and you're in that first 15. You sort of want to push to go into the Prem.
Kind of expected,
like I guess down in Taranaki, the Colts was more so like go have fun but obviously it's still a bit serious. But I always only wanted to play Prem rugby.
Why Clifton? New Plymouth Old Boys is the natural progression. Clifton out the back of White Truck.
Yeah, I guess a lot of my mates were going to Clifton, and mates who had already left school the year prior to my year down there, we'd sort of got real close. I got real close with them, and they're all out of Clifton, so it was just sort of follow where your mates go, and you know, you like the club already even before you're even there, so it was sort of a no-brainer to go there for me.
And that itself wasn't a bad year either. I'll quickly run through and then we'll talk a bit about them. Taranaki Rugby Academy, Chiefs under 20s, Taranaki under 19s, co-captain, won the Michael Jones Trophy, beating Hawke's Bay. Playing with all these guys who have gone on, Josh Lord, Jacob, Ronna, you know, all these guys in your team. And we've got some pretty cool. This is your medal from the Jock Hobbs, which was called the Sir Michael Jones Trophy, winning trophy. And obviously that's your Naki 19 jersey. So very, very cool. So tell us a little bit about those, I guess, that year and kind of your progression into these Taranaki teams.
Yeah, like I guess my first year of club was actually pretty rough. Like, had a good start. I think I got a real bad shoulder injury in the first round.
Yep.
So I'd done my AC joint, and I think I might have been up for a good 5 weeks. And then so I'd done all my rehab. It was real good. Obviously, being in the academy, you have good trainers and physios. You have it all at the tip of your fingers. So I was in physio quite a lot, and the rehab was going real well. So
Standards traditionally always in physio a lot.
Yeah. Not for the right reasons either. But ended up coming back from that. I think I might have got 2 games in and then done it again. Yeah. So I was out for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then our rep season sort of come around, and we were training for 19s and stuff like that. So I was trying to get it really, really, really good before that Jock Hobbs tournament there. And we had a few round robin games just to see where we'd get graded into the comp. I remember we played, I think we had Manawa 2, might have been our last grading game before the tournament. It would have been like 2-3 weeks out before the tournament. And I'd done my shoulder again. But it was because I'd done it so much in that year, it was good within a few days. I was like, okay, here's me thinking I'm going to miss a tournament. But yeah, it come right. And then obviously...
How cool was that to come back to home, to Taupua?
Oh, it was unreal. Like, looking back on that, it was a pretty cool week. Growing up, I remember we used to do the sky cabling for Jock Hobbs, So I remember always saying to myself, like, man, I really want to be there one day, like playing on the biggest stage in front of all these people. And I guess that year when it happened, it's sort of same thing as the Barbars. I look back on myself and I'm like, man, it actually happened, and it was pretty cool. And to make a final that year, it was bottom 8, but final's a final at the end of the day.
And always good to beat Hawke's Bay, isn't it?
Yeah.
My beloved Hawke's Bay.
And to beat them on field 1 up at Owen Delaney, a field that I spent a lot of hours on growing up, was pretty special too.
Actually, just while I think that, talking about that, you were also were a ball collector for Dan Carter as a young fellow, weren't you?
Yeah. So
we kind of forgot about that. Dan Carter if he even needed a ball collector, you were his little man.
So whenever DC would come to Taupua in the summer, would link up with me and my little brother to go kicking.
With Regan.
Yeah, got a few kicking sessions in with him. So that was pretty cool growing up. So, he's sort of the idol that I've looked up to growing up, and to be able to sit there and actually kick with him was pretty.
And I guess he chats to you. You become matey in a way, and it's very cool. So 2019, that was awesome. The under 19s, getting in that rugby academy, Chiefs under 20s. So 2020, much the same. Taranaki high performance. So you got in that pre-season training. Had a run with the senior team in the Chiefs Centurion Cup. And kind of Chiefs under 20, how was your shoulder, and how did that 2020 season go?
Yeah, 2020 was good. Like, I was feeling pretty fit that year, and like you say, I was in the high performance, so we were training quite often. Like,
was that Barnes?
I think we had
Hoita.
Yeah, it would have been Jared. Jared. So we had we had good like routine going on with training in the mornings and stuff like that. So it had like 3 gym sessions a week, and then you'd have might do your extras after that in the afternoons or whatever. But yeah, ended up playing that Centurions Cup. We had a game versus Counties, I think, and then Bay of Plenty.
Yeah.
But yeah, even to put on a Bulls jersey for
Yeah.
those occasions, it was pretty special as well. So
Did you feel you were a young kid, a little bit out of your depth, or had it prepared you, all the previous rugby you'd played prepared you to?
yeah, like I guess you do when you sort of transfer from that academy to that like high performance, you probably still feel a little bit young, but you know there's a pretty good support crew around you, and you know they will make you sort of feel like you belong as such.
I've looked at that Centurion Cup team, and she's pretty stacked team. Like I haven't got them in front of me, but there's some, like a lot of those players are playing Super Rugby now.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's a very
Most
it was a
definitely.
very very good standard. So 2021, you're still down the Naki. Am I right in thinking that year probably that was one of your worst injury wise?
Yeah. So 2021 was pretty bad for me, like in and out of injuries and multiple different injuries, and sort of just got real lazy with myself as such, sort of like lost motivation for it. I think that year I sort of just had off, like I was just needed to get myself right. Mentally wasn't feeling it no more. So to actually step back from the game that you love was pretty hard at first. But yeah, I guess taking that step back it actually worked out pretty well for me, to be fair.
Yeah, and I know you played the Taranaki Māoris kind of at the end of the year. That was kind of the level you're kind of interested in. Or I guess if you don't put in the work, that's the level you play at, isn't it? You know,
exactly.
It's a bit of a lesson. You got to, no matter what, you got to put it in each year at that pre-season. So then you kind of came back home. Why?
I guess I just wanted to just come home. I guess like sort of wanted a bit of change, and then I had an opportunity later on that year to go over to Ireland.
Yeah.
So I guess a big driving force for me coming home was Ireland at the end of the year.
Was Ireland arranged by Topol people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through Kurt, McCullough himself. So yeah, no, that was pretty special. So had to come back home and don on the
lovely to have you back home. I bet
it was good.
Bet your parents, Josh and Tans were stoked.
Yeah, well, being away for 4 or 5 years. So
yeah,
down in Taranaki. So coming home was pretty good.
Played for Tongariro United. I mean, there were links to Topol United through your grandfather and Josh. So,
so the old man played for Topol United back then. But coming back, I was like, well, the old man played. It'd be pretty rude if I didn't play. Yeah. So I come back and played for Tongariro United.
So and you had 3 games for King Country that year, all off the bench. So you made your King Country debut. You would have been stoked with that. But I know I spoke to you after games, and I know you were pissed off that you were on the bench.
It was pretty rotten, eh?
Yeah. And you thought the selectors were all wrong and doing it wrong. But I guess that's just part of rugby, isn't it? You got to sit through some rough times as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like you're probably one who knows it best when I don't get the desired game time I like, or not where I want to be. Then it can be a bit salty with myself. But I mean that year just even make my Rams debut was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Always wanted to be a Ram. Always wanted to play for the Rams. So to be able to finally do that was pretty awesome. But playing off the bench probably wasn't.
Who was the starting halfback?
I think then we might have had so Zane Tipping, and we had Kane Tama as well. So it was some good competition that year, real good competition. So I mean, that's what creates good culture.
Depending on whether Tipping decided to play or not, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, he was the coach's favourite, eh?
Yeah.
No, good man, Zane. So, okay, so that year you moved to Ireland. That is cool. So, what club in Ireland?
So I was at Newbridge.
Yep.
Newbridge, so about half an hour south of Dublin.
Nice.
But like that was crazy. That was a real cool experience. Like not just rugby wise, but life experience as well.
Yep.
Something different for me, like moving.
What was I know what Ireland's like, and it's very very social and a great place to be.
Yeah.
But rugby, it's quite a rugby.
Yeah, I found it different, eh? Like I found it a lot different compared to the way we play in New Zealand. Like they're real. it's like they have to play real structured. Whereas in New Zealand, we can play off the cuff,
Yep.
you know, you sort of play what's in front. But
that's probably because, like you said, you've been playing with the ball since you were 3.
yeah, and that's a big part of it. I've had
Yeah.
this conversation with my old man too. It's like, you know, we're in New Zealand, we're sort of, like you said, we're born with a rugby ball, like everything comes naturally, whereas in over there, it just feels a bit robotic.
Born with a Guinness.
Yeah.
Born with a little pint in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a bit different, but yeah.
What was the level like? Like what would you compare the club rugby you played compared to New Zealand rugby?
Yeah, just like club here.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
like it wasn't anything professional, but
And what work were you doing over there?
I was doing a bit of everything really, like cutting hair, a bit of landscaping.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
Blisters
then
were
ended up
around.
at the golf courses towards the end of my
Yep.
stint as
Yep.
well. So yeah, a bit of everything. But it
And
was good.
I know, I saw photos you caught up with definitely Cortez and the All Black boys.
Yep.
And I saw photos of you
So that,
watching the lads. That was cool.
that year was when they bring in the the All Blacks 15.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, and the All Blacks 15 had played Ireland A that year, so yeah, actually I messaged him and seen him at the game and was actually supposed to catch up with him for a few pints after the game,
Yeah.
but the crew I was with was a bit too keen to get out of the town, so that was all good.
Are you still in touch with your Irish?
Yep, most days, yeah.
Oh,
I still
cool.
talk to those fellas, so
Yeah.
you know, they're lifelong mates.
Any thought of going back? Is that in the back of your mind, or you kind of scratch that itch?
Yeah, like if the opportunity come again, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah.
But, it's definitely old, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, if the opportunity arose, then yeah, I definitely wouldn't say no.
Yeah, that's yeah. You're so lucky. That's such a huge thing to get to. And currently, there's a couple of lads over there, Reeve
Yep,
Satterley,
Reeves over there, yep.
Nick Barnes. So it's cool that that's still continuing. I think it's really, really cool. So kind of we get back. You kind of come back late 23, late 23.
Early 23, yeah.
Early 23.
Yeah.
But you didn't play any
I
rugby.
sort of middle of 23.
Yeah, you didn't play any rugby in 23 back in New Zealand.
Yep. I come back and played. I come back and played for Maris. So I got 6 games in that year. So joined the Mighty Mafia.
Yeah, yeah. So that leaving the whānau at Tongariro United.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
changed?
like I was tossing and turning before I come over. Like when I decided I was coming back to New Zealand, I was tossing and turning whether I was actually going to play or not.
Yeah.
Because I'd actually got a major ankle injury over in Ireland. So I was sort of nursing that when I got back, but yeah, like I sort of wanted to go back to Tongariro, but I sort of wanted to change as well.
Yeah.
Like looking at Maris, like a lot of those boys I grew up playing rugby with.
Yes, so a lot of them are school chums.
Schoolboys,
Yep.
yeah. So literally all those boys in that team, like I played Topanui, ran like 14, 16, so we all grew up playing together. So sort of wanted to sort of get back to playing with your mates type of
And
thing.
a new club kind of finding their way as well. It's just good to have some experience in there. So
At the time it was, and like I mean that 23 year, like I just wanted to get my ankle right, and then I think I just made the cutoff to be able to get selected for Rams that year. And then that 23 year, I think we might have made that final.
no,
Yeah,
that's
we did.
24. Oh, the
23, we made the bottom 8 final and won that. But that final actually got cancelled versus, was it? It was 23.
Are you
Oh,
talking
might
about
have
the
been.
club?
Yeah, the club, yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I must admit, I thought you came back late 23. I didn't realise you came back
no, it
early.
was middle of, so I've got 6 games for Maris in that year.
Yeah.
And then,
So 24, that's probably your biggest year to date.
Yeah.
Total Marist, made the King Country team, started for the King Country team, played your first game down at Hamilton, in Hamilton, in front of the Valley.
Yeah.
Then kind of, I guess, later in the year, you played superbly that year for King Country. That was a hell of a season, wasn't it? You kind of, I'm just reaching down. Oh, it's a long way down. Those who hopefully you remember, made the Lahore Cup final, one of the more classic games. I'll hold that up. One of the more classic games where you beat West Coast. I've got the score there, 46-44. What do you remember of that?
pretty much every minute, every.
I've watched
100 minutes, yeah.
I've watched it many
Yeah.
times. It was
Remember
such a
100
great game
of
of
those
rugby.
minutes. Yeah, like last year was sort of the year that I sort of wanted to make it count. I come into last year thinking, yeah, like this is going to be my year. Really put my best foot forward.
And you
for
were,
Rams.
I remember talking to you probably 3 or 4 games in, me, your old man, and yourself sitting around after the game and saying, shit, he's getting close to this Heartland. He's going well. Just Aaron Dunster, legend of King Country Rugby, coaching, legend. I know you've got to say he is, because otherwise you'll get dropped for this year. But he's a special man.
He definitely is. He's definitely a legend, and to be under his, and I'd say another halfback legend of KC, Drapes.
Drapes, yeah.
We won't mention Gino, he plays for Valley. But
yeah.
Gene, but them three, being under them this year, last year was pretty special. Like they've all been there, done that. They've worn the Rams jerseys, so they know what it means. And
Ezra just seemed to have an ability last year to connect with the player. Like I was lucky enough to be invited on a few trips and got involved in a couple of after match things with you guys. Nothing stupid, but you were all really connected and just a tight group, and just seemed to enjoy each other's company. And Ezra was hugely, well, I guess the coaching group were hugely responsible for that.
Like you say, Cheney, it was the ability to connect with the players, and I think it, like I said before, it makes it a lot easier knowing that they're from the union, and they've played for the jersey before. So, you can sometimes get into teams where coaches who are not particularly from that union, it doesn't really mean as much.
Dunster in particular takes his playing gear every game.
Yeah.
Just in case. I mean, I don't know how old Ezra is. He must be 46. But I said to him, why have you got such a big bag, Ez?
Yeah.
Oh, just in case. And he would be able to jump on that field and play tomorrow. But he's the union's very lucky having that group, and I think it showed with that team last year. I was really, really impressed with that team.
It was a hell of a team. Like I look back on that, and a real special year to take out that trophy at the end of it was pretty special. Like we had such a good team.
So, not to brag, you then went one step better and made a New Zealand team. Your second New Zealand team, the New Zealand Heartland team, which is an amazing, that's the jersey there, your playing jersey, an amazing opportunity for you. So hugely deserved, you and Caleb Foote, 2 boys from, and did Collard make it? Quinn Collard?
Yep.
Well, Quinn, he's trying to play for, but that must have been awesome.
Yeah, it was. Once again, sort of didn't expect it. But I sort of thought I'd be in and around there, but like for me, I just sort of just try to let my performances speak for itself. And
did you have camp at that Wellington?
Yeah, so we're based down in the NZCIS for 2 days, I think.
Yep.
So
that's an incredible facility.
Yeah, flew into Wellies on a Friday, trained Friday. And then we trained Friday, Saturday morning, all morning. Then we went to the Wellington Bay of Plenty final that afternoon. And then Sunday was our big training day.
Tell me gear. Did you go in and just get shitloads of gear?
Yeah, it was some pretty good kit, hey? Got a fair bit of kit.
How many mates did you suddenly find? Oh, have you got a little jacket there for me?
To be fair, like none of my mates can fit my stuff. They're a bit bigger than me, so I sort of get to keep. I gave my old man a pair of shorts because they're too big for me, and actually one of my mates sort of wears my jacket to work every now and then. So, but the kit was unreal. I mean, just being a part of that squad was pretty special, and to make it was we were wicked. As a union, we were so really proud of both you and Caleb. But you with a lot of the injury stuff to get there and do that was really cool. Couple of games. Again, you were the captain of the Heartland was Willie Wright from South Canterbury, so you were kind of subbed on for him for both games. Yep.
New Zealand Māori 15 and New Zealand Barbars. Try against the Barbars.
Yep. Trying that one.
But playing, they were almost, particularly the Barbars team, semi-professional or professional rugby players pretty much. Would have been very tough games.
Yeah, I mean both teams had a decent spread of NPC players in there.
The Dunster, Cruz Dunster made the Māori 15. Did he try and Dunster you?
Nah, try to stay away from Cruz on the field, eh? But yeah, like it was that both teams had a decent spread of NPC players, and it was a whole nother step from Rams.
It was a big step
It was
up.
another
Yep.
step from just Heartland.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah, when you're going up against those NPC followers, it's a bit more faster. It's a bit more full on. So
Yeah, because I watched both games. They were really competitive, but you did lose both games. But yeah, you could just see that difference. Even though they hadn't kind of been playing, they'd stopped playing some of those professionals. You just see the standard. And I guess for you, that kind of made you think, shit, there's still a bit for me to do if I need to go further with my rugby.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those fellas are pretty wicked players, and like I say, the work that they have to get through to be the players they are is pretty.
But no, those couple of jerseys, they'll hang proudly in your
Yeah,
your
for
home
sure.
or
Yep.
you know.
Still yet to get one framed up, but yeah, we'll make sure
It'll
we
have,
get onto it.
keep hands onto it.
Yeah.
So so that was amazing. 2025, you're playing club rugby for Topal Marist, going pretty well. Had a good start to the season. You got a Ramfley Shield challenge coming up June 11th against Taranaki, as you can see our jersey there. That'll be one of the kind of almost a plain jersey. Excited about that. You've seen the Taranaki team. You'll be playing a lot of guys you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
first of all, I assume you've been named in the squad.
I hope so. Yeah.
You hope. Oh, when's it getting announced?
Yeah. I think it's getting announced officially tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, good luck. Good luck if you're in that
It's
team.
being chucked up in our group chat. So
Has that? Yeah.
So
Well,
team knows.
I've obviously haven't been selected because I haven't got the note. So the Shield Challenge down in Taranaki at New Plymouth, that's exciting.
Yep.
And then obviously that'll roll on to hopefully King Country, the Rams for the Heartland, and then there's also that big carrot at the end of the year, a trip to Samoa, a 2-game trip in Samoa for the Heartland 15. Too far ahead, but I'm picking that something you're definitely got your eyes on as a distant prize.
It's the end goal for the year. I've wrote that down. So, but yeah, first step is like I say the Ramfley Shield game and
get that Shield home. It hasn't been home,
pretty,
but get it home. Yeah,
pretty special to playing another Ramfley Shield.
Yep.
We obviously had that one last year, so to be able to play 2 Ramfley Shield challenges is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Pretty cool to look back on
and playing this year with Regan at Marist.
Yeah,
First year playing with Regan.
Yep, officially.
Yes,
Yep. So little brother's playing playing this year, and he played outside of me on Saturday.
Yes,
so
yeah.
that was pretty
Big
cool.
boot. Good boot on the young fella.
Pretty good. Yeah, you wonder where he got it from, James.
Hey, so I guess we kind of that's your kind of how we got to here. Just a few things I just want to touch on before we do finish. You know, you talked about your family being supportive. We know they are. Big shout out to them. You know, they do heaps for you.
Yeah, 100%. Like they're sort of my rock for everything, really. Like the most supportive people and whānau you could ask for. So they're at most games, and growing up, mum or dad take us to any trainings, and no matter how far it was, dad was always there for being there for all the rep stuff and that. But even
family?
when I was away, massive family. So come from a family. I have two older sisters, a younger sister and younger brother. So family of 5.
Yep. And I just want to touch on sister who died, Stace. I couldn't remember the year.
2016.
2016. Obviously a tough time for you, and then your brother-in-law Taff as well dying. Tough times.
Yeah, I guess that from May when Taffy did pass away to July where Stace did, it was that was a pretty rough couple of months, all crammed in to that year. So
and you're only a young fella. What I do love about that, the tough times that came up, the Mangakino and your whānau supported that, and they now do that Memorial Day every year where they have a celebration day of league. The Mango Hawks, the rugby league team, come and support it. Lots of the other Bay of Plenty league teams too. I've watched you try and be a bit aggressive on that league field. But what was special this year was your Marist boys, your Topal Marist boys. None of them really play league, but they came and had a crack at the league as well.
Yeah, so like I said, like our family's real supportive, and to obviously honour both my sister and her partner. We do have that memorial tournament for them, league tournament annually. And like you said, through the previous years, we've had multiple different teams come and go. Obviously, our key three are Taupo Phoenix, Taura Timonga, and Manga Hawks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like year in, year out, we keep adding teams. We have juniors in there now, we have women's.
Yep.
We have
Golden
the
oldies.
Prezzies,
The old man hurt his arm. He tried to do a swinging tackle.
It's good to see the old dogs running around. And yeah, like this year we had.
I haven't been stupid enough to get out there. Won't get me out there.
Well, it's always next year, Jamie. But yeah, like you say, this year we had we put a Taupo Maris in the senior in the Prems comp, so that was pretty cool, especially for all my mates who had never played league.
I bet you someone like, and I was away this year, but I bet you Tom Ryan, I bet you he loved it.
Yeah,
he would have just barreled it up all day, would have thought it was cool.
100%. Yeah, 100%. No, he thought it was awesome, man. That kid in the candy store when it comes to laying on hits. Him and Sam Robinson were both pests on the field.
Oh, did Sam play as well?
Yeah, Sam played as well.
Yeah.
So,
awesome. That's just about it. So that's kind of, I guess, the summation of Christian to date, Christian part 1. Can't wait to see part 2. At the moment, working?
Yeah. So working out at Miraka, little milk factory just outside of Taupo there.
It's hardly little. It's a big, huge operation. Huge for the town. Yeah.
We're coming into our quieter season at the moment, but
And-
still a lot going on.
And just hopefully people are watching or will be watching, just your training. You're obviously training with Taupo Maris, you're training with King Country. Is that it, or are you doing extras?
Always doing extras. Like, to be fair, myself personally in the gym 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Try to fit it in. Lucky enough to finish pretty early most days. So on a Tuesday, Thursday, I'll get to the gym around 3 o'clock.
So you'll gym train, then
and then
team
go
train.
to club. And then
So all you young fellas out there, you take note of this. You've got to do extras.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I try to go sort of later in the evening.
Yep. Rest day Sunday.
Rest day Sunday.
Yep.
Recovery day.
Yep.
Not just from playing rugby.
Well, I heard, after the little Hall Cup final, I heard there was quite a few days recovery. So, hey, thanks, Christian. Loved having you here. Hopefully people will enjoy it out there. You've been a bit of an inspiration. You've been, that's, I can't even do the maths, that's 12, 13 years already of kind of playing representative rugby. It's just incredible. Good luck for Maris this year. Good luck for the Shield Challenge. Good luck for the Rams if you're selected. And then here's hoping a few of us might pop over to Samoa and have a look at hopefully a Heartland game. So thank you very much. And any last words?
Nah, just like to thank you for today, Cheney. I guess to anyone who does watch, any young fellas out there that are aspiring to, take rugby that extra step or be a professional or even one day be a Ram, just stick at it because, rugby's going to throw curveballs at you. But it's about how you handle those and carry on trotting on. So,
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Cheney.
Thank you. Thoughts?
Beauty.
I think that'll go all right.
All right.